because today I was shooting in a studio downtown in Cambridge. And here are a couple of behind the scenes clips from that. I did a vlog, but today we are talking a Q&A, a photography Q&A specifically. My life has changed in a really big way, and I've started doing so much more photography and embracing that not only as one of my creative creature habits, but also one of my side hustles. So the other day on my Instagram story, this is where you can find me on Instagram, I put a question box. What do you want to know about photography? Whether that be in front of the lens, behind the lens, building a business, let me know. And you guys sent in some questions, and I have about 10 minutes left in the studio, so I thought that I would film a quick Q&A. So without further ado, let's jump into these questions. If you're looking for some more photography content as well, I do have a playlist that I'm going to be building out. Some stuff already on there from just shooting some wedding stuff earlier, but be sure to follow along if you are interested in the photography side of things. Okay, so first question was, please show us the gear that you use. I can definitely show it to you. I am filming on it right here. My main camera is the Sony a7 III. I absolutely love it. My run and gun lens is a 25 to 75, and by run and gun I mean I slap that on the camera and I am going. I just use it for almost everything. I love that lens so much. Tamron, great glass, and I would love to upgrade into some Sony G Master glass, but wow. Guys, this is not a cheap hobby at all, and that's why I'm glad I'm finally making it into an actual hustle. I also have a 24mm G Master lens, and that is basically like a big wide open lens, and I can capture so many things. Like this wedding photo, I would have never been able to capture this entire group from this wedding, and I was second shooting, so Casey, who I was with, was like, thank you for having this lens. We would have never been able to capture everyone. So there's so many other things. The next lens I want to buy, though, if you're curious, the next lens I want to buy is 85mm, because in photos it just makes portraits so beautiful, and these are some examples of portraits that I've gotten the opportunity to shoot on that one. So quick and dirty, those are my cameras, and I have a bunch of other gear, including like lavalier mics, the Rode mic on top of my camera right now, which is trying its best with this echo in here. Sadly, I have to get a new little lav. It's not connecting properly. Of course, a tripod. I will link all of my gear down below. Carry bag. I also have like a little screen where I can preview watching myself on the camera. Tons of stuff that goes into camera gear, but honestly, the best camera you could have, we always hear this cliche, is the one in your hand. And sometimes if you're starting photography, if you only have your iPhone, be that person at the party that's like, do you want me to take a photo of you? And even just practice composition on your iPhone. You can always start somewhere. I love this question. What do you wear to photograph an event or a wedding? So I have a lot of white clothing, and obviously I can't wear that to a wedding. I love, love, love wearing a one piece with pockets. That's really nice. Honestly, anything that I can really move in. During summer weddings, it can get so hot, especially with a mask on. So I really try to make sure that I'm dressed nice for the event, but that I am keeping myself cool as well. So I will kind of go towards like flowy pants, maybe a tighter top. Sometimes I'll have my fanny pack on as well with extra batteries or SD cards or something like that if I need that. And I'm just gonna put a couple of pics up on the screen right here of examples of things that I would wear to a wedding. Sometimes I will opt for black, but I oftentimes like to opt for a color, especially if it is for a wedding or an event like that. Anything that I can really move around, get on the ground. I know that sounds so silly, but check out these photos. I took these photos laying on the ground, and you wouldn't want to be wearing a dress necessarily for that. So kind of what you would think running around wise. Also footwear, guys. Comfortable footwear is very important. Sometimes wedding days are 10 hours long, and just outside of weddings, that's kind of like a niche thing. Outside of weddings, this is actually, I did a photo shoot today inside the studio, and I was wearing my black turtleneck and jeans. Now mind you, it was with some girlfriends, but I like to feel good, I like to feel myself, I like to feel comfortable. Nothing that is gonna make me have to like shift my clothing at all, nothing like that. This question is awesome too. How do you even get started with photographic events? And I believe there was another question on here that was, how do you get clients, which is also very similar. So starting out with the process of photography, this is my journey, this is what I did. I started learning a lot, looking at vision boards, creating inspiration, and trying to recreate those photos myself for my social media. And then on top of that, I would kind of grab friends, things like that, and I would just try to do some photo shoots for free, obviously, like pro bono work. This is where you're gonna really start to learn, because one of the worst feelings would be someone getting their hair and makeup done, you don't really know your gear, you're not really prepared or feeling confident behind the lens, so it's really hard to give off that confidence in front of the lens. One of my favorite things to do when photographing is hyping people up, and there's a question about that as well, so we can talk about that in a second. So I will definitely suggest getting your reps in before booking a paying client. It's kind of just that way with anything. Now, mind you, once your work gets to a certain point and you have a portfolio and people see that portfolio and they want to book you, that's when you're like, okay, you know what, I think I can charge for this, because they've already seen your work and they've decided to work with you. So one of the biggest things that I would suggest for any photographer, videographer, creator, honestly, anyone getting started in a creative field, is share what you're doing and share what you want. And by this, I mean, I started sharing on my Instagram a couple of reels of me doing photo shoots, behind the lens obviously, and people would see them and be like, oh my gosh, I would love to hire you for this. And cha-ching, remember what we said before, as soon as someone sees your work and they want to hire you, that is definitely a paying client. So another thing that I would recommend is bringing your card or having your Instagram feed ready to go to have clients to see it. If you go and shoot an event, be happy, bring that energy, hype people up, go and introduce yourself, ask people if they would like a photo. If someone's taking a photo on their phone, say, hey, I'll grab a photo of you too, professionally. And that is just a really good way of not only spreading good energy, but just through interactions like that, I've had people be like, I really like her energy and I would like to book you as well. I just recently shot like a bridal shower, engagement party, and from that, sharing those photos, I was then able to bridge the gap and book a couple of other events, a couple of other clients, just from interacting in that scenario. So I know you're a photographer, I know you want to feel like a fly on the wall all the time. Candids are my absolute favorite to capture, but feel free to talk to people, to engage a little bit, just to kind of like spread a little bit of charisma and joy when you're taking photos of people, because that way you're gonna make an extra connection and someone might actually think of you for a future event. Another thing that I would suggest is whenever you book a client, have a contract, and in that contract, have that if they post a photo, they've got to tag you. And that honestly is just great housekeeping, and they should want to do that because that's the world that we live in now. People should be credited for their work, and if someone random sees that photo, they might be wondering, oh, who took that? And then they're gonna ask about you. My one good friend, Sarah, where I've done her branding shoots for real estate, a couple of real estate agents within her group have now asked about her photos. And of course, Sarah being my friend, has passed along my name, and that's another great way to get clients. Honestly, as soon as you start and you're feeling confident, things will just start rolling, and it's such a good make your own momentum moment. This is such a cute question. How do you feel comfortable and have the confidence to take photos of yourself? Help! Oh my gosh, so look at these clips. I literally just shot a couple photos for not only the thumbnail of this YouTube video, but also just for Instagram because I want to slap my photo on, and then a couple of photos I took of clients behind. But I would say, oftentimes when you're out in public and people are looking at you, it's not them judging you, it's them being curious, generally. And I know sometimes you'll get honks or people being like, woohoo! Just take it as like, take that energy and don't have it close you off. Have it be like, that's right, I'm out here doing the work. And if someone criticizes you for the work that you're doing, they're not showing up. Renee taught us that, and it's 100% true, okay? If you want to have confidence, wear something that makes you feel comfortable. Be with someone, I mean, if you want to take photos with someone else, be with someone who makes you feel confident and comfortable and who also wants to do that too, not someone who's like, okay, come on, let's wrap this up. Worst feeling ever. And challenge yourself. Some of the toughest things that I've done have been challenging myself to do things alone and making that decision. Write it in your calendar. This evening, honey, there's gonna be a good sunset, and I'm gonna go down to the water and I'm challenging myself to get one Instagram photo. And what I'm gonna do before I go down, I'm gonna bring my tripod, I'm gonna hype myself up, I'm gonna have coffee way too late in the day, I'm gonna be buzzed and awake for the rest of the night, but that's okay. And I am going to prep myself with an interval timer. And that is going to allow you to basically take shots on the go, take a bunch all at the same time, or even have an app on your phone where you can see yourself in the screen and where you are in your composition, and you're gonna tap 2-second timer, take the photo. Taking a bunch of photos and really practicing with all of that is going to help you just figure out what works for you, and know that it's gonna feel awkward at first, and that's okay. We're gonna embrace that just a little bit, but you are just going to continue to practice and give yourself some time. Now, I actually just ran out of time in this studio, and I know this was a quick video, but just a little taste at a Q&A of what we could be talking about photography-wise. So please do leave your questions down below. I'm gonna be doing some more series all on what you should wear to a photo shoot, and what you should do if you just became a second shooter for weddings, because that is something that I have definitely dove into quite literally head first lately, and it has been amazing. Whether it be events, photos of yourself, photos of your friends, photos of your family, photos of your dog, you can do this, and I'm cheering you on from over here. If you want to share some of the photos that you have recently taken, I would love to see them. My Instagram is @belowtheblonde. Please tag me and say, hey, what do you think of this? And I will give you some honest feedback. Constructive feedback though, because I'm sure it's great. I love you guys, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.